Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope you guys have had a good week and that your weekend has started well as well. Starting with Haunted tonight, requested over on Patreon. Thank you guys for those requests. And we might be listening to that in a few weeks' time when it is actually Halloween. Haunted always seems to fit the bill, obviously, for that time of the year. Let me skip this advert that's trying to happen already. And let's see who's in the live chat room tonight. We have Jennifer Paul, Rose, Bob, Billy, Charlie, Arlene, Laurie, JB, Alison, Cindy, Sue, Susie Q, Alison, Mojo, Vicky. We're getting usernames that are rhyming with each other, which is great. So hello to all you guys in there, and yeah, Howard's in there as well, and PM112. Alison's going through too quickly for me to pick people out. So hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. Let me get the names of my patrons up on screen. Who requested that first song of mine. By the way, the songs that we start with are original songs by myself. So I know some people occasionally say, oh, I like this cover, but it is actually my own song. So, and I was just thinking about having my own songs and then AI and the stuff that I've been seeing going on recently, and a video that I watched today, which I might discuss on tonight's live stream because it's absolutely crazy. But we have the names at the bottom of the screen who make this all possible, tonight's live stream and everything that I do on my channel. I always say they're the foundation of everything that I do. You guys know who you are, and a massive thank you for all of your support. Now, let's get tonight's likes goal up on screen because we are aiming for 420 likes, and if we do hit that target of 420, then we're going to be having a Phil Jam number 275. And let me get the likeometer up on screen to see where we are at so far. And just check it is number 275. It is. And it's going to be 8 minutes and 59 seconds. So yeah, we'll have to leave a bit of time at the end of the live stream to bust out the guitar and have a jam if we hit that target of 420, and a good start. It's 211 is where we are at so far, which just had a bit of a spike going on there, which means we're looking for 204 more people. So the maths was very easy for me to work out there, which is great. So if you could leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be very much appreciated. We'll see how close we can get, and I think it's been a close call over the last few live streams. So yeah, hopefully we will make it there tonight. So finally, let me get the names of my patrons are already on screen, but the donations tab on screen as well, because you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. And I know that people can't resist donating. So for those people, I think it's important that they know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below, but you don't have to donate. And that goes for everything on the channel. As I always say, you don't have to donate for analysis videos or to make requests for different performances, and you can send your requests through to requests@wingsofpegasus.com. That's the place to send them to. And I know that people send requests all over the place to lots of different emails and social media sites, but yeah, the requests email is the place to make sure that it does get through. And yeah, once it's sent there, it's fine. Also, with the requests email, I know that some people are emailing with things that aren't requests. So make sure you're just emailing requests to requests@wingsofpegasus.com, because yeah, other things might not get noticed in that particular inbox. So yeah, just to let people know that. So we have everything, I think, on screen and displaying correctly. We've got the vote for tonight's cover video at the top of the live chat room, and that is between Miles Away, which is in the lead at the moment with 53% of the vote, and Parisian Walkways, I do believe, is the other one from memory. So yeah, whichever one of those you want to hear, make sure you click on that at the top of the live chat room. So first port of call is last night's video, which was the video on Danny Sapko, who emailed me about looking at some of his vocals from a shorts video that he did, and asked me to say what was going on. And he didn't let me know what was going on. He just asked me to do a video, pointing out what I thought was going on. I think because some people on his channel had said that he'd used auto-tune or pitch correction or something like that. And it was interesting in that it was a totally different process that I was following, because normally on the channel, with people saying, oh, is this post pitch corrected, we look at live footage, crowd shot footage, and compare things like to the official release as well, and then we can cross-reference what was going on live and then what has then been post-edited and uploaded, and we can say whether it's been pitch corrected or not. And it wasn't a case of doing that, because not only did I not have performances that I'm comparing, but I'd never heard Danny's voice before, and in other analysis videos, generally they are well-known singers that we're looking at, and I look into other live performances, especially when they've been on tour. There'll be loads of stuff out there of them either singing live or not singing live, and I can kind of build up a picture of their voice with all of that research that I do before the analysis video is then recorded and then released. So yeah, it's a bit different to just say, right, well, what's going on here? And I've pointed out what I think is going on, and I think Danny's going to be doing a follow-up video on his channel just to say exactly what was going on. And from memory in that performance, I think it was the second performance where it looked a little bit more calibrated, and yeah, that's what I said. It looks like it had been pitch corrected, and the other two performances, I think they were, seemed to be more natural with the vocal. So yeah, that was an interesting one. Like I said, a bit of a break from protocol from the normal videos, and yeah, we're looking for lip syncing, miming, and pitch correction, auto tune, all that kind of stuff, and cross-referencing different performances. This is just one bit of audio that I had to listen to and look at, and that's just what I was basing my conclusions on. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that in the future. And quick update on the other video that I'm working on at the moment, which is going to take a bit longer to put together because it's going to feature multiple vocal coaches on YouTube who are all pulling together, and all pulling together for my channel, which is great and very much appreciated, where they've recorded a live vocal and a totally unedited vocal, and I'm talking about from a pre-signal perspective, so things that change the vocal before you hear it, i.e. pitch correction, auto-tune. So it's going to be a totally natural vocal, and this is something that I'll release over on Authentic Vocal, so you can make sure that you're subscribed over there as well. But it's going to be, I think at the moment we've got, I think 6 or 7 vocal coaches, so it's going to be sections of them singing the things that they've sent to me, of them just performing naturally, just singing naturally. And I think it's going to be great to just have a bit of a reset and listen to great natural voices, as well as just getting back to humanity rather than AI, which is something that we've been looking at recently. And yeah, that's going to be a great video to do. And I can see Mo says even Elizabeth Zaroff and Zaroff. I'm not sure how to pronounce her second name, but I have sent out messages, and yeah, unfortunately I haven't had a reply from Elizabeth yet, and it's been maybe a couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens, because I've got enough vocal coaches now. Obviously there's space for maybe one or two more, but the other vocal coaches that have sent me stuff on YouTube, or have sent it to me to then show on YouTube or on my channel, all of the stuff that I've been sent is great. And we have lots of different types of singing going on. You've got kind of heavy rock vocals and rock vocals, and you've got musical theatre in there as well. So it's great that we've got such a mix of styles from the vocal coaches. So yeah, I will be releasing that in the future, so look out for that on the channel. And yeah, look out for that on Authentic Vocal as well. And I mean, as for where I'll release that first, it might be released over on Authentic Vocal first. So yeah, you might have to go and subscribe over there. And yeah, hopefully it'll go to plan with the editing and getting all of the performances in, because I am waiting on, I think, 2 vocal coaches. And once I have those performances, then yeah, I might just kind of jump into making the video. And yeah, it's something that I can't kind of wait for ages. I mean, in the future, if it is a popular thing, a popular video to be featuring vocal coaches and featuring natural voices, which is what Authentic Vocal is all about, then I could maybe do another video in the future featuring different coaches, and maybe some of the original coaches that have been involved with this project. So yeah, it's something that probably a couple more coaches will be enough, because the videos, I'd like the video to be the length of probably, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, like a normal kind of song length, but going from one performance into the next. And if I've got maybe 6 or 7 or 8 vocal coaches, it means that we can get, probably a good, 30 seconds of each performance. And even still, I think, well, that's still quite short potentially. So yeah, if there are another couple of coaches that get involved, then it will just be maybe 5 or 6 minutes. But yeah, I think it's going to be great just to hear the voices. And certainly the performances that I've been sent have just been great, and it's just great to hear natural vocals. That's very much what I'm into. So anyway, yeah, at the moment it's literally a case of the coaches singing. So it isn't, kind of students of the coaches. It's very much the people. If you do know vocal coaches on YouTube, it'll be those people who are now singing naturally into a microphone with nothing on it. I mean, there might be the post signal effects, just a little bit of reverb, but I think, yeah, a lot of the coaches have applied, hardly anything at all. That, there are a few that are more in studio performances, so that they're using a condenser mic. We've got a few performances which are just literally in front of the camera, just performing. So yeah, it's great. We've got a really cool mix going on. So anyway, thank you to those people who have been involved and been very kind with their time and sending me those files, and I'll keep you guys up to date as to when I'm editing that all together and when I release that video over on Authentic Vocal and here as well. So yeah, it should be a good one. So now, talking about AI and something that I saw earlier today, there's a video that sometimes pops up, or a certain kind of theme that pops up when you've been watching things that are on AI and music and Suno, which I know is now the website that a lot of people go to in order to make their own AI tracks. And first of all, it was a channel called, I think, Davey504, who's a bassist, and he has done a video, and I think the title was something like "I'm Suing" or something like that. And he's just done a video. It happened to pop up on my feed, so I just watched it to see what was going on. And he's found that somebody has taken his songs and fed them to AI, and AI has now done basically a version of his song which is exactly the same, but now put some guitar in the song. And this person has uploaded it and has released that particular song on music streaming sites. So you've got something that is absolutely copyright and something that is owned by Davey 504, and somebody's fed that into AI. And you might say, well, how is that possible that you can take somebody else's song? And he shows on screen that when you're going through the process, all you have to do is click a little box that says, I promise this is my song or this is my original work, and then you're allowed to do it. So that's how it's policed, and that's how crazy it is. And this is why I've been saying for years that we need to put the brakes on this and stop. It's gone too far. So the person has basically just downloaded Davey's song and uploaded it to AI and said, oh yes, this is my song. AI then adds a little bit to that song. And when I say adds a little bit, it adds the guitar, which sometimes doubles the melody that was going on with the bass. So it's like a double bit of illegal activity of doubling up the original melody. And the other thing that isn't happening with AI, which is crazy, is that when the song is uploaded and it asks you, is this your original work? And the person just lies and says yes. The AI companies don't even run it through Content ID. So it doesn't even search and make sure that this song, that the person isn't lying and that this song already exists. So, and that now makes sense as to why there are these different versions of songs where you can have, like a reggae version of Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses, because they're uploading Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, and they're then saying that they want it in a reggae style, but they've already uploaded that song, and are they having to declare on that that's not their song? It's not their original work? Or are they just clicking, oh yes, no, it is my original work, because they know that the result is going to be different, or is going to sound different to the original composition, but it's got all the same lyrics in there. So of course it's still, in the normal world, it'll be covered by copyright, because those words are somebody else's. They wrote those, and that's their song, regardless of, there are loads of bands out there who do covers of other songs, and they make it their own and put a different twist on it, but that doesn't then mean that the original writer isn't entitled to the royalties or the ad revenue that comes with that song, because the people wouldn't have had a song to even work with in the first place had the original composer actually written it. So yeah, it's all crazy, but it really does show that when people say, oh yeah, no, AI is absolutely fine, that there's no problem with it because it's just taking loads of different songs and it's producing something new, that's a perfect case of AI taking something and reproducing it illegally. And I think if that was ever put in front of government, and they said, right, we've got this idea for this site, and what it can do is you have to take somebody's copyright material and feed it into AI, and you've just got to click that you own it. The government will say, well, hang on, you don't own it, so that's illegal. And they say, oh, well, no, you can just click it and then it's fine. You can then upload it to different sites, and it doesn't even check Content ID. That's what I don't get, is how by law they don't have to check that this song doesn't already exist and it is owned by somebody. So absolutely crazy. Now, the other thing with AI is I saw an advert for Suno, and there's this guy, and this is what I have spoken to people who are using AI, and they email me about it and say, oh no, we are writing songs, it's all original, but we're just using AI to kind of help us with the process. I saw this guy because I've replied to somebody, and I haven't got a reply from that still, and it's been like over a week now, where I've said, show me your process, how you write this original song with AI. And yeah, I didn't get a reply to that, because this person was saying, oh no, well I do come up with the lyrics, and it takes me 40 iterations to come up with the lyrics, and then it takes between 60 and 100 iterations to get the song. And I'm thinking, well, why are you needing so many iterations to get the lyrics, because surely you know what they are. I said this in the last live stream. So anyway, getting back to AI and this Suno and this advert that I saw, where the guy's sitting behind the keyboard he didn't play at any point, but he's sitting behind the keyboard and he goes like this. He goes, hoo, hoo, yeah, yeah, like that. And that's all he did. And he fed that into AI. And he wrote one line of lyrics, but this is him trying to show how you can write songs and write original material to then release and for people to buy. So he came up with, I could have, like what I just did there can now be fed into AI. And what AI will do, if I wrote one line of lyrics, whatever it might be, something like, we were together for a long time and now I think about you even though you're gone. So you write down one line of lyrics and now AI will give you a whole song based on that. And when you're listening to, and the stupid thing is, this guy then waits for however many minutes, not very many minutes, for it then to make his song. And when he's listening to it, he's going like this. He's going, because he's loving what he's hearing, and he's loving what he's hearing because he doesn't even know how his own song goes until he hears it coming out of the speakers. That isn't writing a song. Hearing the song for the first time and you don't know how it's going to go. So then he says, and if you want to change things about it, then you can do, you can change the prompts, and he starts kind of writing in different things that he wants. But writing in what you want, it isn't composing a song, it isn't writing a song. So yeah, and he said, and it's great because, it really opens up the doors to creativity, and, you'll never get writer's block, and, you can even write a song with one word. But you can't write a song with one word. Obviously, AI can. And this is where I think people kind of miss the point, that AI is enabling them to write a song because the creativity of writing a song isn't theirs. It's the creativity of millions of other artists that have all had their copyright material fed to AI without their permission. So it isn't your creativity, it's the world's creativity of independent artists and signed artists and famous bands, musicians, songwriters, great songwriters. It's all of their creative juices that have made it, and then AI has given you that. And I don't know how you can take ownership of that, thinking that you've now created that yourself. If you're surprised by anything you hear, then that isn't writing the song. Because like when you come up with a riff on the guitar, you play the riff on the guitar and you think, I quite like what I've done there. I quite like that run that I played. And then you might start to tweak it a little bit. But you did come up with that. You're not listening, pressing play on your guitar and saying, okay, guitar, give me a riff. And then it does it by itself. You are creating something. So, the whole process, I don't really understand how you can take ownership of that. Of being given something and thinking that you wrote that. And to be so taken aback at how great it sounds. Just that is an indication that, well, how did you not know that this is your song? It's because the song's been created without your input. You just wrote some words and then AI used the creativity of the world's musicians to give it to you. So, yeah. Anyway, let's skip these adverts. So, yeah, I mean, maybe there is somebody out there that is using AI or can show me a process that they go through using AI that is original, and it is their original composition, and they take maybe a demo, for example, that is the rough outline of the song and just the song recorded in a very rough way, and then give that to AI to then make into sounding better or more professionally created. I don't know whether it does that, whether it will keep everything as true to that demo as possible, or just keep it totally true, 100% true to the demo, but make it sound better. And I think with some of the songs, the vocals that are going on, you think, well, those vocals aren't physically possible. You know, to be belting in chest voice, for example, for 3 or 4 minutes straight. You think, no singer's going to be doing that. There's going to be some concession that has to be made, but AI doesn't care about that. It will give you vocals that are physically impossible to perform because it's just giving you an approximation of a voice and all the voices that it's ever heard pushed together. So anyway, we will get into the donations because we have had some of those. Thank you, Paul, for this $5 donation, and the message is, wow, 508,000 subscribers, most excellent. Let's have fun tonight and spike the likes, all y'all. Peace, love, and rock. So thank you for that, Paul, and let me get this up on screen to make it official. 508,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing and hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and clicking the box to be notified for everything. And if you do want to get notified for everything, then you'll have to go over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, which is there. If you need it, you can join there for free, start a free account, and you will get emails for each video so you don't miss any of them. But thank you guys for subscribing. It is very much appreciated. We'll keep on pushing forward and see where we end up. Let's give a plug of the likeometer, and I might give a plug of the mug today because we haven't had that in a while. Here we go, plug of the mug. If you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, then click on the tray underneath this video. And a quick update for the spring.com store that I used to be a part of, and they started, just taking literally months and months and months, I think maybe 6 or 7 months to deliver a t-shirt, for example. And I thought, well, that's a bit ridiculous. So 2 months, maybe a month and a half ago, I then decided, right, I'm just going to withdraw whatever might be in there because I hadn't checked on the spring store in a while. And there was $1,470, something like that. Which is great. Or I should say, it would have been great if they'd actually paid me that, because I still haven't received any money. So of course I did a search on Google, and there are loads of creators who were using spring.com and they haven't been paid the money that they should be paid for their merchandise being sold. So fingers crossed, we will see if I actually receive that money or not, because it is mine, but they haven't paid me. I think one person said, it took months and months and months for them to actually pay them, and they had to message them every day in order to do that. So it is going to be a huge shame, because the merchandise is, it's great when you guys buy merchandise because it's something that I can use to help everything to keep pushing forward, and for me to pay everything that I need to pay, and first of all, just to pay the bills, buy food as well, and that's quite an important thing. But just all of the things where they're subscription based, everything's subscription based now. So all of the technology I use, all of the live stream like I'm using here, is all software that I use that's a monthly outgoing, and all of the things that I need to make my analysis videos constantly build every month. So every little bit extra that I get through the merchandise is great, because it helps me, takes the pressure off a little bit. If I have, say for example, an extra t-shirt or two's worth of funding, it means that I can put that aside, and maybe buy another hard drive if I need to get one, and if anything goes wrong, maybe cover the cost of things going wrong, but then me being able to replace them. And this is why I think probably over the last few years I don't think I've actually ever had, over the last few years, had to say, oh, I can't do it this week, or I can't do it for the next 2 weeks, like in terms of any videos on my channel, because I've got a problem or had a technical failure. There was recently the hard drive failure that I had that then messed up one of my analysis videos, but I could still kind of roll with the punch because I, have support from obviously my foundation over on Patreon, but all the extra little bits that really do help. So thank you guys for all of those. It is very much appreciated. But what's not appreciated at the moment is the Spring customer service. But I'll let you guys know if it ever does come through. Hopefully it will. But fortunately now on Teespring, and not on Teespring, on Dashery. Teespring was the old, it was Spring, and then it's called Teespring. But now I've moved over to Dashery. So Dashery is the store that you'll now see below these videos, and all of that is all above board, and they deliver very quickly and are very reliable. So hence the reason that I changed them in the first place. So yeah, if you guys want to check out any merchandise, then you can do the tray underneath this video, and that money for merchandise then I will be receiving from Dashery. So yeah, don't go over to the spring.com store and keep buying things because it's literally just, I don't know, it's just money to them, really. I won't see any of that for people buying my merchandise, which is a bit of a shame. So anyway, yeah, there's the merch update, but Dashery get a double thumbs up from not only myself, but the people that have let me know that things got delivered very quickly and are of a high quality. So, right, back to the donations. Paul donated $10 again. This is for the tip jar. So thank you for that. Timothy donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Tim. And that's a straight up donation. Karen donated $20. So thank you for that. And the message is, greetings from beautiful Sacramento, California. Phil, I recall a coach you might want to contact. Jim Griever of Griever Productions. He's performed professionally and can actually sing. Imagine that. He's in Sydney. So thank you for that. And yeah, the vocal coaches that I will be featuring can sing as well. So don't worry about that. I mean, yeah, we've got some... I mean, Chris Lipe is going to be in there. Chris is a friend of the channel. Brett Manning as well is going to be in there. And I've chatted with Brett over on Instagram, and he kind of has seen a few of my videos and knows about my channel as well. So he's agreed to kind of get involved with it. And we've got Dr. Dan from Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of very well-known coaches that are going to be just doing like this, just singing in front of a mic, which I think is great. Because for teaching as well, I think that's what teaching and coaching is all about. Just letting students know. This is a bit of a throwback to a video that I did recently where the vocal coach is in the same room as the student, but the student's vocal has been post-pitch correction. And I say post-pitch corrected. I said in my analysis video that I didn't want to imagine that they've re-recorded the vocal and overdubbed it for this kind of performance thing. But there are things in the performance that make it a little bit suspicious. But there are ways that you can eradicate. Say, for example, somebody's got a lapel mic on and they touch it with their hand, you'll get a lot of interference. And this is something that the singer was doing during her performance. She's kind of moving around a lot and kind of doing that and touching the mic, and you get interference there. But I think you might be able to get rid of that interference if you isolated the vocal, and then there's an excuse for saying, oh, well, it wasn't overdubbed as a performance. We just isolated the vocal to remove the sound of the student touching the mic. So, yeah. But again, I think, well, if you're going to start editing those kinds of performances from a pitch perspective, then, yeah, can you trust that they're not just totally re-recording it and pitch correcting it and just pretending that it's a student singing in a lesson? I mean, it is crazy to think that just a student singing in a vocal lesson is being edited before it's being uploaded, so people can't even hear the natural voice of the student. But then again, we're talking about, when you think about the whole business angle, obviously, if you want to make more money, if you're just all about making as much money as possible, why would you not just tune your students so that when you upload them to your channel, they're all, perfectly on A440 somehow, and every single student seems to have this ability, because of course you're going to sell whatever course, or you're going to sell more lessons if everyone thinks that each singer has never missed a note, so it must be because of this particular course. But it's not that. It's just you can save yourself hundreds, if not thousands of dollars buying courses and getting vocal lessons by just buying Melodyne, because that's what's being used, and just pitch correct your vocal. That sounds crazy. Imagine going ah, and then going, okay, right, let me pitch correct that. Ah, let me pitch correct that. Ah, and you're going through your whole scales up and down, and you're pitch correcting each one afterwards to make it sound as accurate as possible. Oh, it doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, moving on. Let's have a look into that PayPal window, because we have some donations in there. And Gabriel donated £4, so thank you for that. It was a straight up donation. Philip donated £5, thank you for that. Another straight up donation. And the Soz Compass has donated £2.22. And the message is, hi Phil, have you ever experienced a ghost or any paranormal activity? And do you have any plans for Halloween? Thanks, Phil. So thank you for that. And not at the moment. I think for the Halloween live stream, it might be afterwards. I think, when was Halloween? Was it on a Thursday or a Friday? I can't remember, but maybe I can see on here. It is, it's going to be a Friday. So yeah, we might do something on the Saturday night. We'll just extend Halloween a little bit. So yeah, that's what I might do this year for Halloween in terms of a channel thing. And with a ghost, seeing ghosts and all that kind of stuff, I haven't myself. I haven't seen a ghost. But I think I would be quite interested in going somewhere haunted and just seeing what happens and try and be as objective about it. Obviously, you guys know on my channel, I try to be as objective as possible. So I would like to go to a really haunted place and just try and be objective, to think, right, is what we're hearing, the contraction or the expansion of wood. A lot of these haunted places are, wood-built buildings, and there's a lot of cracks and knocks and all this kind of stuff. So I'd like to think, well, could that be down to the wood heating up and cooling down throughout the day, as I know with my guitars, any dramatic change in temperature and your strings are going to go out of tune because the wood is expanding or it's contracting. So yeah, I think the problem is with some of the shows, especially this one here, that I don't think is going anymore, but it's called Most Haunted, where they go to these locations and they got night vision and all this stuff. The problem is, as soon as they get what they deem a response from the other side, they start screaming and they run out, of the room because they're scared. Whereas you think, well, that's not being objective. You've got to think, well, we're here to study the noises to see if they are relevant, if what we're asking actually, is proven, or we can say with our question we can guide whatever the response is, such as knocking, twice for yes and once for no, and asking questions and all that stuff, and then seeing, well, is there something where a heater might have started up where now we're getting a couple of knocks every 10 seconds and just happens to fall with the questions. But anyway, it would be interesting. It might be a little bit frightening or scary or whatever, but I think if you go in there with the objective mindset, I would hope that I could just stay concentrated in order to focus on the investigation at hand. So, but it's nothing that I've ever done. I've never gone ghost hunting or tried to, like the seances and all that kind of stuff. I haven't done anything like that. So thank you for that. The Soul's Compass. Bruce has donated £4, and that's a straight up donation. Thank you for that, Bruce. And Bryony's donated £5, and Bryony says, "Hi Phil, just ordered my Phil Toon mug. So how about a plug of the mug?" There we go. We already did it, but let's have another go. Just for Bryony, there we go. Another plug of the mug. So thank you for grabbing some merch. And Karen's donated £5.60. Thank you for that. And the message is, "Hi Phil, congrats on hitting 508,000 subscribers. I'm looking forward to your video featuring the vocal coaches just for fun from the book of questions. What do you value most in a relationship? Any relationship. And why? Thanks for all you do and for being you. Cheers, Karen." I don't know. I guess in any relationship, it doesn't really matter what that is. You don't have to know somebody for a really long time to have respect for one another. And I guess with people that you do know, having trust and respect is something that I value and probably value the most, in especially when I think I've mentioned it on the live streams before, when they say that respect is earned. Some people say this, and I think, well, that's kind of the opposite of the way that I think. I think that every human is equal. So if you don't respect somebody else, how can you expect them to respect you? And if you live in a world where nobody respects anybody else, then that's where bad things happen. So I think just straight off the bat, you've got to respect the other person, and then you move on from there. That's a very good place to start. If everybody respected everybody else, then we wouldn't have any problems, I don't think. So that's what I would say, is that. And then when you know people quite well, it's then building trust and having trust in other people, and friends and family. Obviously, being able to trust them is important. But as we say here in the UK, and probably in a lot of places, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, because sometimes, as I've seen on Judge Judy many a time, family can't be trusted. So I think Judge Judy would be out of business, or she would have been out of business, if families just were totally trustworthy and did everything by the book, and everybody who wrote a will left things to some people, and then the other people were absolutely fine with it and respected the person's wishes. That never really seems to happen. But thank you for that, Karen. And Deborah's donated £5 as well, and that's a straight up donation, so thank you for that. And Karen has donated £4.20 again. So thank you for that. And the message is, "Phil, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I believe that Suno is involved in lawsuits concerning copyright infringement due to unauthorized use of AI. I think there were allegations of steam ripping. Can you explain what that is? Many thanks for all you do." Karen. So I haven't heard of steam ripping before. So, I mean, ripping from a CD just used to mean literally taking the information from that CD and putting it onto your computer. So I'm assuming that that's going to be the same term, and stream ripping is going to be effectively downloading the songs to your computer or to the AI model that's being trained. So, but you're ripping it now from the streaming websites, so like, Spotify and, Apple Music and Amazon and all these different streaming sites. That's what I assume that is, because it means that on the streaming sites, you don't have to put in every single. Back in the day, you used to have to get the CD of the artist and put it into your computer, and then you could rip it to your computer so that now it's stored as MP3s, for example, and you can now listen to it on your computer, and you don't have to put the CD in all the time. But now, because there aren't CDs anymore, it's all online. It means that you can stream rip, and I'm assuming this is what it means. It means that you can now get all of these songs onto your computer, feed them illegally to AI, which is just what's been going on the whole time. And that can then train the AI model to then put out all of these different styles, all these different songs, and create songs that in the case that I showed earlier, or spoke about earlier, where it's literally another guy's songs that is massively illegal, but that's all now fine, apparently. It's just not being policed and wasn't policed, so now it's already gone too far. And yeah, it's all made possible by the illegal feeding of AI with copyright material. And now the thing is, the way that the laws work, and I don't know if Suno is being sued, but I absolutely understand why they either are or will be sued, because what they're doing, back in the day, before AI, somebody would create a song and they'd say, this is my song, I own it. And they'll register it and they'll have the publishing rights to it. And that is their song. And now they have content ID that is attributed to that song. So if it's played anywhere on the internet, they will get the ad revenue or royalties for it being played because it is their song. So if somebody back in the day now decided to take that person's song and try and sell it themselves or do a cover version of it, whatever they might want to do, now the original writer will say, hang on, that's my song. Or it might even be the case that this person written a song that sounds really like the original song. So what happens? The original writer says, hang on, that's exactly the same as my song. You can't do that. I own it. And then if the person doesn't say, oh, sorry, I didn't know that, you'd then go to court and a judge will decide, so that the court will decide whether it is plagiarism or not, whether somebody has stolen somebody else's work. And that's the legal process. That's how it has always worked. But now you can forget that, and you can forget that. You can take somebody's song, put it into AI, and it will create the same song with a little bit of change in there, which absolutely back in the day, a court would say, that's illegal. You've just copied that person's song. So you wouldn't have been able to do it. But now because of AI has kind of skipped over all of this legality, or the legality of copyright and owning songs and writing and publishing rights and all these different things. It's skipped all that, so that now all you need to do to steal somebody's music, and it is stealing, it's theft of their intellectual property. All you've got to do is click a box that says, no, this is mine. I mean, how has it got to that point where you've got all of these different proceedings that have to happen and it will be decided by a court, but now you just got to click a box and you can get away with it. And then none of this judicial procedure will go through. So it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy where we are at the moment. So there's the law's been totally skipped. All of the things that should have been, like I've said, it's too late now, but AI should have had to have been, policed to be trained on only stuff that it had the right to be trained on, where the artist or the band or whoever it might be have said, yes, I agree that you can train your model with my music, because then everything would have been fine. But it's just been trained on everyone's music, and I think probably 99% of those people didn't agree for it to be used, like their music to be training AI. So, and this is the problem, that it might then create a song that's very similar to yours because it's just listened to your song and it's learned from it. So anyway, thank you for that. Leslie donated £25 and says, good evening, Phil. It's been a while since I asked about your arm. When I hurt my shoulder gardening, a 3-month physio made everything right. I hope your injury won't turn into something chronic. 4+ years is too long. So thank you for that. And yeah, my arm's not too bad. I mean, it's definitely getting better. So it's something that, like yesterday, it did kind of ache a little bit, but I am trying to do a little bit of exercise and doing it maybe once every 3 or 4 days, and it's exercises that I would have normally done as part of my workout routine, but just with lighter weights. So I think my arm is definitely getting better, but I think every injury is different, and I remember when I had the scan on my arm, he said it's just going to take a really long time. It will heal. Because I said, oh, well, is it going to fully heal? And he said, well, yeah, it will fully heal, but it's just going to take a very long time. So I can testify to that it is taking a very long time, but I'm thinking, hopefully, fingers crossed, with the exercises that are going quite well, and the fact that I can even do them. Before, I would never have been able to do my kind of old exercises, like chest press and bicep curls and tricep extension, all that kind of stuff. I'd have never been able to do that previously, but now I can start doing that with lighter weights. So yeah, it's kind of going to take a bit more patience, but I think hopefully maybe by mid next year, maybe another 6 months, or maybe another 6 months to a year, then it might be back to kind of full strength, which would be nice. So thank you for that, Leslie. And by Zopotic has donated £9.20. So thank you for that. And the message is, congratulations on 508,000 subscribers. I've learned so much about singing from your channel. Thanks. So thank you for that. And I mean, it's great that people learn things about singing from the channel, because I think just looking at somebody's voice in detail on pitch monitoring software, you can start to pick up all the things that great singers have in common, and then start to apply that to your own voice. So anyway, Rocking Babe donated $4.99. Thank you for that. The message is, Phil, you have a head that's perfect for a bobble head. So thank you for that. Karen donated $5 as well and said, hey there, Phil. Not sure if you heard Ace Frehley of Kiss died. He had a brain bleed after a fall. Did you like him as a guitarist? So thank you for that. And yeah, I think, the video that I did on Ace Frehley must be like 5 years ago, something like that. So very old with the video. But yeah, I never really personally got into Kiss that much, albeit with his playing style, what he played, and this is probably one of the hardest thing to do, and the great guitarists do this, where they play a solo that just suits the song, and he had that ability in order to make those songs so memorable but melodic from the lead guitar point of view as well. And yeah, Kiss weren't a band that I got into. I was more going down, I guess, I don't know, the hard rock or the melodic rock, even though people would say, oh, it's the same sound, and it is very similar. But I'd say because of the kind of glam approach to it, I think the look probably wasn't something that resonated with me personally, even though people might say, well, all I've got to do is paint my face and I'd probably fit in quite well. But yeah, it's just for whatever reason I didn't get into Kiss. I was kind of listening to lots of other bands, and I think it's probably because of my dad being into particular bands, and Gary Moore, and Eddie Van Halen as a guitarist, and kind of classic rock and Boston and all that kind of stuff. Kiss weren't in his collection, so it's not something that I listened to when I was younger. So I think that probably kind of shaped my route as to the music that I listened to. But but very sad news about Ace Frehley dying recently. But thank you for that, Karen. And I'm just going to check here that I didn't miss anything out. We did have another donation. This is from Vicky, who donated £17.81. So thank you for that. And the message is, thank you, Phil. I love your live streams. You rock. So thank you for that. And by the way, we're looking for 22 more people to hit the thumbs up to have a Phil Jam at the end of the live stream. And when I say the end of the live stream, the end is very close. So we need 22 more people in that live chat room. If you're in there and you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, if you could do that, it'd be very much appreciated. It looks like we're going to be jumping into Miles Away, the Winger Classic. So let's have that confirmed. It was 51% of the vote to Parisian Walkways, 49. So yeah, this is, I mean, hard rock, melodic hard rock. I think some people would say that Winger are a little bit heavier, maybe with some of their albums, and getting a bit heavier with albums like Pull. But anyway, this is Miles Away by Winger, my version of it, of course. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock! Okay, so quick introduction to this next video. This is more of a tribute video to Kip Winger, as I've been to see Kip in London and with his band Winger numerous times, and once I even went to France just to watch Winger. So this is my tribute, and it's me playing and singing Miles Away, and I hope you like it. See you later. Rock!
So this is love, or so you tell me, as you're walking out the door. Months go by, and I know for certain it's not the love I'm looking for. Sometimes, just for a moment, I reach out and hope you're still there. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most, you were miles away. It's hard to tell what you're going through. You kept your feelings locked inside of you. Open your heart and chances are what you're feeling, I'm feeling too. If only just for a moment, hold on to the dreams that we had. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most, you were miles away. When times were tough, you were down and out. Who was there by your side? Now you're gone, I'm so tired of being alone, with only your promises. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most, you were miles and miles away. No, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most, you were miles away.
And there we have it. That was my version of Miles Away, the Winger classic. So thank you guys for voting for that as tonight's cover video. I've grabbed the guitar, of course, because we have hit the target for tonight. Thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up and getting us to the Fill Jam target, or the Lights goal to have the Fill Jam, which was 420 likes. We are going to quickly jump into picture corner because there's something kicking off in there tonight, and it's only just going to be, I think, one picture for tonight. Here we have it. And this is from Leslie, and Leslie says, I had the chance to join the Cube, but I declined. Wings of Pegasus live streams were not guaranteed. No deal. So thank you for that, Leslie, and thank you, Laura, for linking me to that particular picture. And that is picture corner for tonight, so we will get rid of that, and we'll come back to here. And I just realised I'm not very organised with this. Let me turn on the microphone. Guitar is on. Oh, Zoom. That's what I always forget to do. Where's the red dude? There he is. He always seems to be sleeping whenever I try and press the button. It takes a little bit of time to come up on screen. Oh, by the way, the reason I just reminded myself of this is Skinwalker Ranch is now showing here in the UK, which is great. Obviously I have to watch one and then wait a week to see the next one, but the reason I thought about it is because there's always one guy who's sitting in like the mission control room, and I always imagine that while they're all doing their experiments that he's just kind of sat in there sleeping, and then they message him and he goes, oh yeah, what was it? Anyway, you've got to have watched it to understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's all about aliens and stuff. I say aliens. Potential wormholes and... what do they call it? Like the bubble is what they call it. This anomaly that they've found in Skinwalker Ranch. But anyway, enough about all that. This is Phil Jam number 275. Let's click on it.
That's my
and wait for this advert to go through. Pause that, unmute that. Right, so this is Great Gig in the Sky Jam. Epic Pink Floyd style backing track in brackets G minor, and this is from Now You Shred backing tracks, and the U is in capital letters YOU. Let's have a listen, and hopefully I can hear this. Didn't hear it previously, which is a bit the advert. Can you hear this? Finish. It's not gonna finish. There we have it. That was the ending. So now what happens normally on the videos is that something else will pop up and you know then the video is about to finish, and something popped up about 3/4 of the way into the video, so I was waiting for it all to finish and then just started up again. But that was Great Gig in the Sky Jam, epic Pink Floyd style backing track, in brackets G minor, from Now You Shred backing tracks. So yeah, thank you Joe for linking me to that one, and for you guys hitting the thumbs up to ensure that we had a fill jam for tonight. So I can see. Oh, Sue donated $9.99. I don't think we referenced that one. It says, love Phil's version of Miles Away. When I hear the original, I tend to think something's not quite right. So thank you for that. And Kyrie Lason has donated $2 and says, cool. So thank you for that as well. And we are up to date with everything. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow night, so look out for that one. Live streaming Tuesday night, as always, 11 PM Greenwich Mean Time. So if you can join me then, it would be very much appreciated, because then maybe we'll bust out the guitar again and have another Phil jam if we hit the likes goal on Tuesday nights. We need every single attendee as possible to hit that thumbs up. We'll wait and see what happens then. But have a fantastic rest of your weekend. As I always say, try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. And I'll see you guys at tomorrow night's video. See you then. Rock!